What's up, everybody? We are back. This is Cyber with Love. And I told you, people, I told you all that when we come back, we're going to hit the ground running. And a part of hitting the ground running is a new segment on this page, which we call What the Tech. And we're going to have multiple IT professionals from all over the industries on what the tech, talking about their experiences, what they do, how they do it, if they were to do it all over again, all that. We're going to get to know a whole bunch of different IT professionals and just see if we can find you some help in the paths they take and just to get to know them as individuals because, we're not robots, right? So, my first ever guest, I ain't gonna lie, I'm excited for this one. Long time friend. I'm talking about decades in the game. Decades. Cloud extraordinaire, cloud engineer, cloud consultant, anything cloud related. I promise I call him up because he knows. And if he don't know, then no one knows. And you can quote me on that. You get what I'm saying? I have a very good friend, a very good brother of mine, cloud engineer, cloud consultant, helping people across all over with their just getting their business up to date with the cloud, implementing AI agents in all sorts of things. Roland Njoya, brother, how are you, man? What's going on?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
Man, thank you for pulling up with What the Tech. You're our first ever interview. So you gonna hold a special place in my heart. You know what I'm saying? As the first ever interview when the platform grows and grows and grows. But like, tell me, man, how you been? Any like, what's going on with you right now, man? What's up?
Yeah, man. So I've been good. I mean, just to introduce myself, like you said before, I've been working in the cloud space for about 6 years. Well, I've been working in the tech space for about 6 years now. The cloud
Ooh.
space, about 3 to 4 years altogether. It's been a really good journey so far. So just excited to share a bit more about myself. We're gonna get into, but yeah, I've been feeling pretty good. Just happy to be here again.
Man, thank you for showing up again. Everybody over here at CyberWLove really appreciates you. And thank you for being the first interview and thank you for doing this over here at What the Tech. So we gonna get straight into it, getting to know Roland, getting to know what he's doing, getting to know his pathway. So let's jump straight into it. So like just tell me, like, be brutally honest. You don't have to lie. What got you interested in the tech field in general?
Um, Money, I would say. I definitely think money was a huge incentive. Like just a bit like the background. Like I first started like in an apprenticeship, volunteering in like a computer shop, putting together computers. It was a really hardware heavy Linux machines and Windows machines, just re-imaging different units, and then fixing up computer repairs for like people who had viruses on their computers and stuff like that.
Ooh,
So at this point in time, I actually didn't really know like that jobs in the IT field paid a lot or
for
paid
real.
well. So I mean, when I found that out, I mean, I was like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm staying here. You know what I'm
Especially
saying?
like
So,
working in a shop, it had to be demanded. Like you were basically a help desk before everybody knew about help desk.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I was literally help desk. So we had a person at the desk, and just helping out with the actual fixing up with those computers, the hardware, and just taking out drives and upgrading RAM and stuff like that. So yeah, it was quite literally like a help desk job. I was on that desk helping, so it was pretty good though. It was pretty good. I learned a lot of fundamentals there. But yeah, I think I really, it was just something that just kind of fell into my lap. I ran with it, and I'm here now.
And brother, you sure did run far. I could tell the people that he sure did run far. But talking about that, right? That just leads me into my next question for you is like, let's start from the beginning. Like, okay, you went through help desk. Like, take me to the path of rolling. Like, let me follow your footsteps. Like, what was the maturation of just going from working in that help desk shop, fixing computers on viruses to okay, now I'm a whole cloud engineer, running my own business as cloud consultant, helping other businesses and stuff like that.
Yeah. So when I was doing the help desk and apprenticeship, I was about 16 years old. So the next process and step in my life at that point, I was thinking like, of course, like I have to go to college, right?
Yeah.
So everything started with college from there. Um, when I went to college, at first I wasn't initially working like in the tech space. Like, I had like other jobs, like at a deli, doing, pizza. I used to sell grills and lawnmowers at one point. I was doing like a little bit of sales there too. So, I mean, that was cool. But then, as I started to take my like academic career a lot more serious, I started learning more about, obviously, my major was like computer networking. So I started learning more about the actual networking protocols and things that weren't as immediately obvious to me at the shop. And I
Mm-hmm.
started networking a lot more with like my professors network. And then I joined the club. So I joined the club in college, and this club we were just learning about different. We were actually doing different projects, learning about AI, learning about the cloud, and at like a really surface level. And we were doing a couple different things to just kind of showcase like what we've learned in our work. I did like an Alexa skill for a job fair where everyone came to the table and they could act like the Alexa, like, oh, like what jobs are at
Oh,
the
really?
job fair? Yeah, I did it for
How
the
did it
job.
like? Was that like something that pulled you closer to the cloud, or like was that just something for?
Yeah, that's definitely something that pulled me closer. That's something that pulled me closer for sure. And then just doing well in class, writing, doing good projects and just writing well and stuff like that caught the attention of one of my teachers, and they, exposed me to someone in the network who had like a event coming up with a cloud vendor. So I went ahead and went through there. I did an interview, a couple rounds, and from there I went on to work in the cloud space. Did a couple internships. Did another internship on a contract at a government agency. So I did a whole bunch of internships. I did 3 internships towards the end of my college career, and then I started working full time in the field. For I worked at a couple different places. I worked at a government agency again, a contract for a government agency, a cloud vendor, and now I'm working like in the field commercial as a
Mm.
consultant. So
So being like on the commercial side or on the government side, which one do you say like is better for a cloud engineer to really get into?
um, I would say if you want to learn more, I would say you may want to go to the commercial side. I think you'll encounter a lot more interesting problems within the commercial side, just
Really?
because there's less. Yeah, because there's less regulation. There's less regulation, and people are a lot more like experimental with like the different things they try to implement into their company and stuff like that. I feel like things
Okay.
move a little bit slower in the government, but you learn a lot of good fundamentals, and there's a bigger focus on like security.
So like, and you said a key word there that I kind of want to hone in on. Moving to the next question, like fundamentals. Like, what are some fundament? Like, if you were to hire someone as your cloud engineer for your company, what are some fundamentals that like, hey, if you don't even know this, then I just won't even look at you. No matter if it's Amazon or Azure. Like, what are you looking for? What would you look for as like a hiring manager?
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 fundamentals I can point to. So the main first fundamental that you would need in any job is the ability to communicate well. So I really look and probe for people
That
who
boy
are able
dropping gems.
like able to like really articulate their thoughts, really talk about why they did something, why they think it's a good idea. I think that's the biggest thing you have to look for first. And the second thing I would look for is a grasp on like computer networking, like a firm grasp on like how compute like data actually gets from one place to another place, and how you're actually connecting to different servers. Because that's pretty much the cloud is just like a computer network. So yeah, those are the 2 big fundamentals I would look for.
So like just a quick just a quick pop question. Like if I was an interviewee and I'm sitting in front of you, like can you just on the fly make up a question that you might ask me like oh like hey like if you don't know this then I don't even know if you're gonna get this job.
If I could make up a question that I would ask you. Okay, so I think one thing that I would ask you, I'd probably ask you to explain what an API is. That's probably
Mm.
a very basic question I would ask you to explain. Like, what is
So
that? Like,
explain the API. Okay, okay,
yeah,
okay. So
yeah,
for all my cloud engineers, people, you better hey the
yeah.
API study. Better know what that is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So moving on to that next question. Moving on to my next question is like cloud computing. Like we keep saying these buzzwords like API, cloud,
Mhm.
this, that, and the third. Like if I really want people who are brand new in tech, fresh new in tech, to really understand what we're talking about right now, right? Because I know all the tech gurus are hearing, oh, they're just saying these buzzwords, but like but like from your expertise, can you explain to someone who's probably never heard of cloud, never doesn't even know what an API is, can't even
Mhm.
has no clue what freaking SSH is?
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? They don't even know what a DNS is. They don't know anything. Can you
Yeah.
explain to them like, okay, what is it that I work with? Like, what is the cloud?
Yeah. So, well, first we have to look at like the purpose of the cloud and like why it helps businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So before, traditionally, when you want to host like an application or a workload, it would be on a server that a company would have,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and you would have a lot of different variables that come with that, like how big does our server need to be? Um, how many servers do we even need in the first place? Can our server even run like the workloads that we want it to run? And that was a big issue for a lot of companies because they couldn't forecast, predict correctly, and they would like waste a lot of money on paying for servers up front. So the cloud is just a way for you to get the same performance from the servers that will be providing that workload at a fraction of the cost. And you would do this through essentially on the pay as you go model and renting out that usage. So
Okay.
and it would be housed and stored in like a cloud vendor or a cloud provider's like a data warehouse. So instead of you having like a bunch of computers sitting around in your company, your house, or your warehouse or your office, you would just log in on your laptop and then you'd be able to run your workloads by accessing and renting out those servers in another place. So that's like the big advantage to the cloud. You can store data, you can run workloads, and you can secure your workload remotely from anywhere, basically.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. That's actually a great example for someone that's fresh to IT, someone that actually wants to get to cloud engineering.
Yeah.
I feel like just having the fundamentals, like key things that you're saying, like those pay as you go models, like the usage, just knowing like the actual origin of what you're getting into, I feel like will be helpful to some people, especially people that have never, ever, 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 ever heard of the cloud, doesn't know anything about it. So
Yeah.
like that even leads me to my next question is if I wanted to become someone of your caliber, someone that like really gets into the cloud, someone that's an IT consultant and working on their own business, this, that, and the third, where's my starting point? Where should I start? How should I move? What right or turns? What right turn? What left turn? What am I taking?
Well, the first thing I would say is you really want to um, pick your niche or pick your technology, pick your tool. There
Mm-hmm.
are a couple different tools that you can use. You can go the three biggest cloud vendors. You can go GCP, which is Google. You can go Azure, or you can go AWS, which is Amazon's cloud providing service. So you can do yeah. So I would first pick one lane and start there first. There are like entry certifications. There's like the Google IT one. There's like one for the cloud, and then there's like the Azure AZ 900. It's 900, right? Uh,
So the Azure AZ 900 is basically like the fundamentals. And
yeah.
if you really want to go deeper into like actual tools within Azure, like Defender, Sentinel, and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
I would go for the Azure Security Engineer. As an Azure connoisseur,
Mm-hmm.
I ain't really messing with that AWS.
Right, 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 right.
But if you learn one cloud, you learn them all.
Yeah,
But but yeah,
yeah.
but that's a good pickup. But like yeah, Azure 900 is something for fundamentals, and then if go deeper in that route. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, so exactly. So like I would recommend like as a starting point, I would recommend like once you pick which one you want to go with, either Azure 900 or the AWS Cloud Practitioner. So once you start there, you're gonna have a better feel of like what domain in the cloud that you like. If it's like storage, databases, AI, or if you're like a very compute heavy networking person, whatever the case may be, you can figure out the other certifications you want to go to as well too. And I think a good starting point for each of those, if you just want to be more of a generalist too, would be like a solution architect certification And I believe all of the cloud providers have their version of solution architect, but I think the Azure one is like higher. Like that's like higher
They
up.
definitely. I would have to look at the all the certification tree. I
Mm-hmm.
know for me personally, I feel like Azure Security Engineer gets you really far into it,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're working with Sentinel Defender. I know they have some. They go many routes. I would have to look back into it, but I'm going for Azure Security Engineer
Yeah.
as a person that works with Azure a lot in my day to day. But you actually answered two questions in one because I was actually going to ask you about some certifications that people can take when it comes to cloud engineering, and you already hit it out the head. So we're gonna skip that one, and we're gonna go into some. We're gonna go into some more.
Well,
You know,
I will say though, like the certifications do depend on what you want to do.
okay.
So, but I will
But
say
if I
that,
want
like,
to be rolling, what certification would I want to do?
yeah, I mean, I've done. Okay, so if you want to do cloud, and I work like on the infrastructure side, so I actually wouldn't recommend like all of the certifications from the cloud vendors. I think if you really want to get in the field doing something like cloud related, I think the like any associate level one would be good, like a fundamental, such as like cloud practitioner, an associate, such as like solutions architect associate, and maybe you want to go for a professional. And then I would get the HashiCorp Terraform certification so you can showcase that you understand infrastructure as code because that's how you deploy your cloud infrastructures. And infrastructure as code is just a way for you to deploy your cloud workload by coding it. And the reason why that's important is because instead of going around in the console and clicking everything, so for example, if we're both working on something, you may click something and then try to explain to me what you clicked, but you forgot a step, and then I make a mistake, and it's just not,
Uh huh.
it's just we're not synced up. So the reason why we want to codify how we deploy our cloud workloads is so we can check the versioning. We can put it in something called Git, and GitHub and Git is just a way for you to look at the different versions of everything that way you make less mistakes. So that's all it is. I would recommend learning Terraform.
Hey, I hope you got your ears wide open because he just dropped a lot of knowledge. So I hope over here at Cyber with Love and What the Tech Topics, you got your ears wide open because gems like that will come constantly from different professionals. So switching gears a little bit. Let's switch gears a little bit, right? Okay. So Roland, you wake up. Boom.
Yeah.
It's 8 a.m. Got a long work day ahead of you. You need some juice. You need some energy. Are you coffee? Or you getting like a bang? You getting a Red Bull? Which one we doing?
Oh, coffee. I actually don't even think you know this. I don't even think you know this. I'm a big coffee person. Like I drink a lot of coffee.
Really?
Yeah. I drink a lot of coffee, bro. Like I'm a big
I
coffee person. I
you.
know that's what I'm saying. I don't think you've ever seen me drink coffee, but I do drink a lot of coffee.
If someone was to come to me and say $1 million, does Roland drink coffee? I would confidently say no, and I would have lost a
Yeah,
million.
no, I drink a lot of coffee. That's how I like to get a couple cups in. I can just like really focus on my work and just do a lot of work. You do you drink coffee?
No, to be honest, no. To be honest, I'm more if I'm not even a coffee or energy drink drinker. I'm not gonna lie. I get a cup of water, or maybe like I might get a soda or something. But if
Mm.
I was to be like one of the two, I'd definitely go energy drink. I've been meaning to try. I never had a Red Bull in my life, like never.
Okay, see that's the thing. You need to change that, man. It's I mean obviously like health, but like the the way like caffeine and working, you get a lot done. I'm just saying that.
Really,
Yeah.
that's why I like in the office when I go into like because I'm barely in the office, but when I go into the office and like people are in the office, bro, the coffee's brewing. Everyone's getting a cup. Oh, love you, love. I got this coffee from home. This tea, China coffee. Did you get it?
Mhm.
I be like, listen, brother. I got a cup of water. If I need some type of sugar, I'll probably get Pepsi. But moving on from that, so it's like we're still switching gears a little bit, but I want your opinion. There's these two big letters that is scaring the whole planet, scaring everybody in every industry. I know you know these letters. AI. AI is scaring everybody in every sector. And I want your thoughts and opinion about AI, where it's at currently, where you see it going, who should be scared, who shouldn't be scared. Like, give me just your raw, unfiltered thoughts about this whole AI topic that's going on the web.
Yeah, I think as IT professionals, AI definitely is scary in the sense that um, the rate at which you're going to need to learn and shift gears is going to have to be a lot faster. So I think that like at every stage of like check as it's matured, even like when things were like back in binary ones and zeros, they would come out with like different ways to like abstract that, and then people would be like, "Oh my god, all these jobs are gone," and then they would come out with like smaller drives and make new advancements, and people like all these jobs are gone. Like before databases, they had people who had like endless file cabinets. I think I forgot what the name of that job was, but that job was in jeopardy too. So there's always going to be more and more jobs that become scarce or get taken away because of AI, and I think that it is a valid concern. I think that it is taking away a lot of jobs from people, and it's not the best in the best spot in terms of the way public perception is on AI,
Yeah.
especially in tech.
Oh,
I think the
especially in tech.
yeah, especially tech. The only people who will really love AI are AI people. So at the AI people were like C-suite business owner, those type of people. But like, yeah, I would say just my biggest advice for dealing with AI is just like learning AI, being able to deploy AI, and just learning different ways that you can use AI to help you out and yourself because it's inevitable. It's just here. So you're not really going to escape it because your boss and my boss are trying to implement AI. So
Bro, what? They have some people over there at one of our contracts learning about Pilot and the AI agents and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah,
yeah,
it's definitely it's definitely coming. It's definitely here to stay. So as a cloud engineer, like, how does AI affect me? Like, like, how
yeah,
do you see AI affecting you in your day to day jobs or like your day and when you're talking to different business owners and stuff like that? So like, as a future cloud, like, should I even get into cloud engineering if AI is just gonna take my job anyway?
yeah. Because the AI cloud actually makes it easier to deploy AI. A huge reason why a lot of people are even able to use AI is because of the cloud. So when you look at like NVIDIA or you look at like AWS, for example, you have different types of processors, different types of like instances, which is just like a virtual machine. And these instances are like created and tailored to actually run AI workloads. So I think if you want to, maybe if you don't want to directly learn AI, you don't want to learn about CUDA and all that stuff. I think you should get into the cloud because you're positioning yourself really well to be able to assist the advancement of AI without like directly
Mm.
being there. And another thing too, there's a lot of companies in general that just aren't even on the cloud. So there's a lot of room for growth in that area as well too. I think cloud is still like cloud learning cloud skills is still in the forefront of things, but at the same time, the cloud is like kind of becoming the baseline. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
for example, if you were to like to go to school in and try to learn about computers in the 1990s, you know, when they talk to you, it would be like a like setting up like the HTTP server or DHCP server would be like that's like the thing you need to
Yeah.
know to like get a job back
Nah,
then.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But now that's just like that's not even
That's
it's
not.
it's set up
Now
most
it's
places
like,
don't
can you
even
deploy
work.
Azure? Can you deploy like?
Yeah, exactly.
Can
So
you
I think
deploy? Can you work with Sentinel?
exactly. I honestly, personally, I honestly really think in like 20 years, the focus on like a lot of some of those networking classes and some of those like very fundamental non-cloud related classes are that's gonna be like the intro classes, and a bulk of like the other classes will be like cloud related things because everything just gets deployed on the cloud. And then to your earlier question when you were discussing the government versus commercial, there's not a lot of cloud deployments in the government currently right now. But if you go
Yep,
to a commercial company, it's yeah,
it's a lot.
yeah,
And funny that you said that because I work in like a GCC environment, which is
Mhm.
like government community cloud, and a lot of contractors or like government sector type of companies, they try to like it's expensive to even migrate from like just a regular Azure environment to like a government community cloud, and the it's don't even think about going high.
yeah,
There's GCC and then GCC high, and it's so a lot of like government companies don't try to migrate over. They just try to stay where they're at. which you're going to actually see a migration of a lot of those government companies due to the fact that CMMC is now being forced on companies, especially if you want to work with the DoD. So,
Mm.
even as a cloud engineer, you see a lot of companies are going to need help migrating their on-prem infrastructure cloud. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of companies. I know. I worked with one company that opted to just remove their whole on-prem because migrating it over to the cloud to get their CMC certification was just too. It was just too much costly. It was just too much. It was just a headache. So they just opted to get rid of it entirely. But
I mean,
my last and final question. Oh, you got something for us?
I was about to say, and that's that's where you would come in learning the cloud because if you can come up with a solution to that, I mean,
Make some
yeah,
money, money, money,
exactly.
money.
Even giving them some advice, helping them out in any way, you know.
Yeah, there's always room to make some money when it comes to that type of stuff. But my last and final question to you is, I'm a new and upcomer. I'm starting at the base mountain. I'm looking at this tall cloud engineering mountain full of Google, Amazon, Azure. I'm just like, dang, I don't even know where to go. Like, I just don't know where to go. What are some words that, like, if what are some words or some wisdom or some nuggets that you had that if you would have had when you were younger, like, man, I probably would have got to where I am faster.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think I mean, I'm very happy with the way my career has played out so far. Now, if we're talking about if you want to be more on like architecture, design, consulting side of things, I think you really want to focus on understanding how like sales cycles, how the businesses move, and understanding the role of tech in that company. Right, that's the first place I would start. And then if I were to be on that technical end of like cloud engineer, software engineer type of thing, yeah, I mean, the first place you start with Python. I mean, just start with Python if you're right there, just because it's just gonna make your life a lot easier in the end. So I would start with Python. Either way, you would still need to learn a little bit of Python. So I would start with Python first, learn computer networking, learn how to deploy, and then of course, how I talked about those communication skills earlier. That's you're gonna need those. That's the biggest thing. Yeah, the
Communication.
communication.
Wow.
Yeah, I would
So it's
say
not even that technical skills; it's the communication
no,
skills.
no. I would say in IT tech in any. I think communication is the most important skill. Even like a lot of hiring managers will tell you, like that's like the make or break most of the time.
Wow.
Yeah,
Roland, it was a pleasure having you on, man. Like, thank you so much for being the first person to be on What the Tech on Cyber with Love. It was a fountain full of knowledge. You gave us a whole bunch of gems and nuggets. To all my aspiring cloud engineers out there, take heed to everything that he said in this video. And maybe if you want to, are people allowed to reach out to you, Roland?
of course.
Man, so I'm gonna drop the gram, the LinkedIn, and everything in the post. Reach out to him, ask for advice, ask for certifications, and Cyber with Love. I'm gonna see y'all soon with another person. It's always gonna be a mystery. I might do even like character reveals on the page, but it's good to be back. It's good to get the ball rolling. Rolling. Thank you for coming, and this has been What the Tech.